Here's a really, really massive problem that a lot of people are willing to ignore because it's pleasurable, okay? And that is lust. Now, lust is a sin, and it's a sin for a reason, okay? Lust is the idea of ignorance towards what is right to pursue sexual pleasure, right? These people aren't trying to seek love, they're trying to seek the feeling of climax in a way, you know. And the sad thing is that the majority of people are engaging in a form of lust right now, whether that's watching pornography, hookups, one night stands, or being a young teenager and chasing that pleasurable feeling in relationships, okay? And it's such a bad idea because I'm going to explain why this actually gets in the way of love. It absolutely ruins the idea of loving someone properly. It stops that from even happening because you're focusing on the pleasure of intercourse instead of the pleasure of loving your partner. So let me explain something real quick. A lot of people are gonna get iffy about this because, you know, unfortunately this idea is just disagreed upon by the majority of people nowadays. They always deny it every single time, and that is sex after marriage, okay? People prefer to have that before marriage because once again, they're hedonistic, you know? They don't want to delay gratification to secure love, right? Have an actual secure marriage. Now, what am I talking about here? Before I get on to why you should practice this, the reason why the majority of people don't like this idea is because they're controlled by their lust. It is controlling them. It is stopping them from doing this practice that will actually, like, give them a great future marriage. And by the way, your marriage really does matter because your entire life, the rest of your life will be built around your marriage and your career. And your marriage is very much, like, very important, okay? So why should you practice this? Sexual intercourse is a form of connection between male and female. The purpose of intercourse is to exchange energy, which limits itself with every person you connect with, right? We've seen people like Hamza talk about this a lot, you know? And the reason why is because it's literally true. You are exchanging your soul, you know, or your energy in more realistic terminology, right? Because what's going on there is that you're exchanging your ability to connect with someone because that's your connection right there, right? So if every person you do this with, you're limiting your chances of pair bonding with another person, you know? And this goes with male and female. So if you want to have that actual spark, don't be doing this, okay? Wait until marriage. And the degeneracy of the West is causing people to become emotionally disconnected from love. It's actually such a worrying problem because you have all these people, and by the way, you can tell they're massive red flags when they're trying to chase this feeling. They're usually not good people. They're usually very unhappy. Let's say you're going out with someone, they're very promiscuous, they just had like 5. Their count is 5. Terrible. I bet you they're seeking the 6th, and that will be you, right? So that ends up happening, and basically the relationship doesn't even last because they're chaotic. And that also kind of brings another point because you're more likely to be lustful if your family unit was already bad in the first place. But speaking of family units, lust is destroying families. Lust encourages weak family units. What do I mean by that? How I'm talking about how lust gets rid of love, right? In a family where you're both extremely lustful, you know, there's no dynamic between feminine and masculine. You're just both going at each other because, oh, it's a pleasurable feeling. That will destroy the family unit because let's look at your past, okay? The reason why you're doing this is because you both were just broken from all the promiscuity you just went through. And the wife, right, she's already had a high body count. And because her ability to connect with people has been greatly lowered, she's going to end up breaking up with you in the first, like, later anyway, like, divorce, because, you know, she's going to cheat. Of course, people might argue, no, that won't happen. You can be loyal, right? If you're basically addicted to that feeling, right, it's going to be hard to get out of it. It's going to be hard. And controlling your subconscious is a task in itself, you know? We're split between conscious and subconscious. So when these people go out there and they're acting lustfully, in the future, they risk the chance of divorce. You know, they risk the chance of it because what I'm explaining here is that, first of all, we just mentioned connection, right? Pair bonding is being limited. Second of all, they're kind of addicted to the feeling now because they just did that throughout their entire lives, you know? So they're gonna be used to redoing that habit once someone actually, like, I guess, willing enough comes in. And third of all, How's that gonna affect your kids, huh? Exactly. So those are the reasons why just the family unit gets absolutely abolished upon having promiscuous parents, okay? Now, the promotion of lust, where does this come from? Lust is marketed, you know, we all heard the term sex sells, okay? You've all seen those music videos where it's just like, usually a rapper, but a lot of rock music videos have it in as well, country music videos. There's gonna be a lot of sexual themes in those music videos, of course, and also in the songs, the lyrics have a lot of sexual themes. You know, and by the way, it's not just rap that had that, you know. Like, rap's a great example nowadays, but you can go back in time and see all this power rock, power metal, where it's just the lyrics are just goddamn quite promiscuous. And then go back later, further than that. And movies have a lot of this stuff as well. A lot of, like, movies that are accessible to adults, not kids, they'll always have that sex sells marketing scheme secretly put into the film, same as television, and that further encourages the need to breed. But it's not only that. Not only is like the higher ups promoting it, you also have people like these esoteric communities. Let me talk about this real quick. Look, self-improvement's a great thing, but the red pill movement, when it comes to relationships, is absolutely bust. Because what's being promoted here is the idea of attracting the most women. That is degeneracy, right? You're not looking for the person that you want to connect with in a marriage that will actually support you through the family unit. No, you're looking for some person who will bring you pleasure in the first place, right? Like, here's a terrible piece of advice. You've heard it from goddamn the Tates and all that. You need a high body count to find love, bros. No, you don't. You don't need a high body count to distinguish which women are fake or real. You can just look at their red flags and go like, okay, that person's addicted to TikTok. I don't want that in my life. Okay, that person is very insulting. She's probably very promiscuous as well, I can tell. It can be achieved through red flags and green flags, okay? Yeah, you don't need a high body count to find love. Now, what is actual love? Actual love is honest, genuine communication, growing and maturing with each other. The dance between masculine and feminine, and the preparation for the family unit. You can already tell a relationship is actually going to be pretty good when you start off and you're already talking about the future, right? You're already talking about growing, you're already talking about wanting to start a family later on in life, you know? Actual love is built through all these things I just listed, right? Honest and genuine communication. It is not going on to the bed as soon as we meet each other, you know? It's goddamn honest and genuine communication and just building a life together. And that's what you should find in your partner. So this is how you avoid lust. It is very, very difficult because we all have that deep subconscious feeling of, I need to go out there and extend my bloodline because, you know, it's just a natural thing. But society and civilization and religion directs you in a different way that you're supposed to be doing. So how to avoid lust? First of all, avoid all this kind of like sexual content, okay? It's not good for you in the first place, and it's just gonna get you acting lustful. Second of all, stop thinking lustfully of everyone. You can't do that. That is very much a bad trait that will get you acting lustfully in the first place. Replace lustful thoughts with thoughts of love. This has kind of worked with me. It changes and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like, instead of thinking about this disgusting thing, I just go like, oh, look, we're connecting. It's lovely. This one I recommend, but you probably won't do it anyway. Embrace God. Even a little bit of God goes a long way because his teachings is not primarily, but one of the big things is to avoid lust and to delay that feeling until you're married. Basically, it's going to help you if you follow it, and like, it'll just do a lot for you. And then embrace love and reject lust. Okay, that's the primary message of this video. Embrace love and reject lust.